What's up guys, Pop101 here. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to activate and deactivate functions for different weapons in Blade and Sorcery U11. So let's get started. And just a little side note, I will be showing you how to do this with the particle system and with imbuing weapons on two different controls, one with the trigger and one with the spell button. We'll also not be showing you how to actually make the weapon in Unity. Check out the other tutorial for that. Let's say to start we want to create an event that turns on an imbue for a weapon and turns it off. So all we're going to need to do to start is create a new game object. You can name it whatever you want. I'd like to name all of my events underneath a parent named events. So that is what I did right here. And then I just created another game object called fire imbue on, and in it I added the handle event linker. So go here, type in handle event linker, and this is what shows up for you guys. I want the fire imbue to turn on every time we pull the trigger while grabbing this handle right here. Not handle number 2, which is a second handle on the blade. So in order to get this, all we need to do is drag this completed handle right here. You'll notice where it is. All we need to do is drag that handle into this handle right here so that it knows that we want to use this handle instead of the other one. Once this is set, we can determine which button we want to actually activate it. So in my case, I like to use the on grabbed use press, so that's the trigger. If you want to do the spell button, it's the alternate use press. Once this is set up, we need to create an imbue controller to actually control the imbue amounts. So to do this, we obviously create another game object, one that I named imbue controller, and we need to add the imbue controller script to this. And since I already have it on, it won't let me add it again, even to show you guys. But all I did was determine which collider group I want to have the imbue, which obviously is the blade. So I grabbed the collider blade, just dragged it in, and notice it is the collider group. I already have my generated mesh on it. All I did was make sure to start it out at -100 and 0, so just drag the sliders all the way back down. And since I want it to be imbued with fire, I just wrote the spell ID, which is fire. You can also determine which imbue you actually want. So to do this, we can go to our JSONs and just take a look. So our fire imbue, named fire, gravity, gravity, and lightning, named lightning. Now this does work for custom spells that use imbues, such as my Fireball Jutsu, Amaterasu, things like that. So if we go out of this, now if we go back to our fire imbue on, this is what we currently have. All we need to do is hit this plus right here and actually start telling it what to do. So in our case, since we already set the imbue controller to turn everything off, what we need to do is grab it and drag it back on to this. And since we set everything off, we need to turn it on, right? Because we actually want our weapons to be imbued. So we can add the set imbue rate. And if we drag it on again, we can set the imbue controller to set imbue max %. If we take a look at what I did here, set it to 100 for both, it will instantly imbue the weapon with fire. Now, one interesting thing I want to show you guys is if we actually get rid of what I was just working on, and we go to the fire imbue off, which is essentially the fire imbue on, which I did Control D, I duplicated it. I went to this and I just changed it to set imbue rate to -100 and set it to 0 for the imbue max %. This right here turns off the imbue. Now we have the imbue on and imbue off, but we actually needed to tell it to switch between the two. So what I did was we want to start listening. So we have the script check whether or not we pull the trigger. We need this checked on right here. And all I did was drag the fire imbue on right here and the fire imbue off right there. The reason why I set it to do that is if you take notice, the listening is on for fire imbue on and it's off for fire imbue off. That means the script is only checking if this handle event linker is active or not. It's not checking if this one is active. So the reason why we do this is we set it to listen. So notice listening, listen. We set the off to on through this, which is why it's set listen. Then we turn this fire imbue on. We set it to off. Now we do the reverse on Fire Imbue off, notice since it's set to 0 already, it turns it off. Then just like with what we did on the Fire Imbue on, it turns the handle event linker for the Fire Imbue on. So this gets turned on, and then this gets turned off. This is why we turn Fire Imbue off here. So whenever we pull the trigger, the Fire Imbue will get turned on. It'll get imbued on, and it will get switched off when we pull the trigger again. Now, the same thing can be done with particles. So in this case, I have my very own particles, and as you can tell right here, I had a lot of fun making them. So I figured, why not turn them on? So I have my particles on game object right here, which again created empty, named particles on, and I added again the handle event linker, and made sure to drag in this handle right there, so it knows which handle I want to actually activate it. And you'll notice in this one, I set it so it activates with the spell button. All I did was drag in my particles, go to particle system, and play. And again, just like how I set up the Fire Imbue on and off, I'm not going to take you through it again because I already explained it, but Fire Imbue off, we set the listen on, and we set particles on, set it to off, so then it listens for the other one. And just so you guys know exactly where to go, it's just right here for the set listen bool, and obviously you check it on and off. And that's really it, guys. So again, I'd highly recommend you just creating a game object, an empty one, that contains all of your event linkers, because it just makes it a bit easier to work with, and it's easy to swap between the two so we can activate and deactivate things. Like, for example, lightsabers, which I will have another tutorial coming out soon. But that is it, guys. So if you liked the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out the channel a ton. Thanks for watching.